Evening all. Okay, get the old bloke on first. That's what they decided. Don't think they think I can make it past 9 o'clock. Well, I've turned up, now we'll give it a whirl. Yeah, like Dave said, my name's Dave Window, and that's not a stage name, that's my actual name. And I've had to live with that, obviously, since I was born, strangely enough. And as you can imagine, with a name like Window, especially at my age, when I was a kid, got a lot of bullying in relation to my name at school. People used to shout out things like, hey, window pane, hey, window liquor, you know, things to do with my name. Oi, fat fucker. Come and think of it, that had nothing to do with my name. So, what do you do if you get bullied as a kid? This will divide the audience, divide the room. You join the police. And I've spent the last 28 years policing the streets of Greater Manchester until April this year when I left the job. Thank you, thank you. There you go. I left that little gap there just to get a little bit of applause. And when I say left the job after 28 years, you think, oh, hang on a minute, don't police officers normally do 30 years, or they get very old or something? But it was a little bit of a sort of issue, really. I mean, let me put it this way. A few months ago, some of you may remember the story of a female assistant chief constable in Greater Manchester who got in trouble for getting her tits out at a Women in Policing conference. She had a kind of boob off with another senior female police officer who'd had enhanced boobs, and she didn't have enhanced boobs, so she wanted to show that her boobs were just as good. And in the same way, also showing that senior leaders, women leaders, can be just as big a dicks as men can. However, she didn't get the sack because she was so important to Greater Manchester Police, they didn't sack her. Now, I got me cock out once. Once. And that was the end of that. In all fairness, it was in court. But, for those of you that never experienced this, when you realise that the judge has sussed that you're making everything up that you're saying, you have to do something. And it's an old joke, but as the judge said at the time, nothing that you've presented in court today will stand up. Thank you very much. So, when you leave the police, the trouble is, it is a big adrenaline rush. You join the police, and you've got to find something to replace it, which is why I'm having a go at this. You know, there's nothing like racing through the streets of Manchester at night time with your blues and your twos on, wondering if you'll get there in time, or will the kebab shop be shut? I haven't tasered anybody in months, and I missed the buzz. It's as simple as that. So I was thinking about things that I could do, and one of the things that I do sometimes late at night when the wife's gone to bed is watch a television channel called Babe Station. Anybody know what I'm talking about? Hey, come on guys, Babe Station, we all do it, don't we? Wife goes to bed, get Babe Station on. The idea of Babe Station, for those of you who've never seen it and don't know what I'm talking about, is a number of ladies in their lingerie lounge around on a bed or on a settee, and men phone them up and they talk dirty to you until you reach the obvious conclusion. And they charge by the minute. Now, I'm quite proud of the fact that I've never actually paid for a full minute. And obviously, that includes 30 seconds of prep time. Because as we know, guys, you've got to prep for these things. The first thing is, I mentioned, you've got to wait till the wife's gone to bed. And the main thing is to check that she's actually asleep. There is nothing worse than getting in your position, getting your Babe Station on, getting your phone call, and the wife suddenly realises she forgot something downstairs. It's a nightmare. It's only just beaten by not getting your tissues in the right place and getting yourself sorted first. There is nothing worse than ending up in that position where you've finished and you suddenly realise the tissues are over the other side of the room. And you have to do the penguin walk to get your tissues. There's nothing worse. But I thought, why should the ladies miss out on this? Why should ladies miss out on this? So I started a television channel. It was an internet thing. You may not have seen it. Same sort of thing, only called Bloke Station. Where myself and several other of my mates, all obviously fit, fine specimens of men like myself, would lie around on a settee in our budgie smugglers, And ladies could phone up and we could say sexually arousing things to them. Things like, just hang on a minute, love, I'll just turn the football off so I can listen intently to everything you've got to say because I find you so interesting. Or, honestly, I find facial hair very attractive. However, that got ruined because the wife kept phoning up and asking me to pick a pint of milk up on the way home. And I realised that she was doing it on my phone, so I was basically paying for my own dirty phone call. So I sacked that one. And then I realised that all this is part of what I'm calling my three-quarter life crisis. I can't have a midlife crisis anymore because I'm too old. But I'm having another crisis, so it must be a midlife crisis. And it's dictated to, really, by changes in your lifestyle. For instance, when somebody sticks the finger up your ass, it's no longer part of a kinky sex game. It's a doctor. And it's closely followed by a camera and the opportunity to study your bowels on closed-circuit television. The other thing that I'm really, really struggling with at the moment, a lot of you are a lot younger than me in this room and it won't mean anything to you, but it's coming to you, especially the guys. I'm talking to the guys. I used to go to bed, go to sleep and wake up. Then I got older and then I started waking up 2 hours after I'd gone to bed then for a pee. So I get up in the dark, you don't know anybody up, you bump and bang, you go to the toilet, you have a pee, you come back, you get back in bed. 2 hours later you wake up again and you go through the same routine again. 2 or 3 times a night getting up for a piss. It really gets you down. And the fact that you're bumping into things and you can't turn the lights on is a bit of a nightmare. So what I did was, I've decided now, and I went out and got it the other week, I bought some of them lights that they put in aeroplanes that are on the floor that light up when you're crashing. So when you get up at night, now just follow the lights to the toilet. It makes things a lot more easy. So it's all part of this midlife crisis. It's things like sex. Oh God, he's going to mention sex. Sex changes when you get older. It's still good, but you have to do a bit more planning for it. You have to plan a bit more. We'll say to the wife, you fancy doing it doggy? She goes, we need some cushions. Need a couple at least for my elbows and a couple for your knees. So you get sorted, so we go, right, okay, love. Get in the position. You're right, yeah, comfy, elbows on the cushions. Right, I'll join you. Get down here now. Oh, shit! I've got cramp. I've got cramp, love. Hold on, don't move. Don't move. I'll be back in a minute. I'll be back in a minute. Don't move, love. It's doing it for me. Hang on a minute. I'll be down there again in a minute. Right. What were we doing? we were doing what? No. Tell you what, shall we just put kettle on? All right, put kettle on. Shit, I can't get up. We'll just stay here for a bit, shall we, love? We're okay. Good night. Thank you very much.
Stay window! Yes! I do like to start a gig with a vision of an older man having awkward